I'm gonna call that a win and
Yep.
close it.
Well, he said that he was having, he knew it was smashed, and he was having trouble getting someone to pick it up. So
Yeah,
like,
I
well,
mean,
just
we had
explain
that
that.
issue down on the south end of town on 195. We had a smashed truck for years.
Yeah. So I mean,
Becomes a insurance issue, and until insurance pays it out, they have to keep it, I guess.
oh, really?
So,
I'll show you the view. Want to see the view?
yeah.
It's my father-in-law's.
They all changed it.
Oops, my brother-in-law's on a meeting. Everyone's working.
Is anyone on vacation?
Doug and my sister-in-law. Rebecca's working, Emily's working, George is working. But here,
Oh, wow, that looks great.
Wow.
yeah, it's really nice.
Beautiful.
You're up above the city a little bit.
Yeah, we're in the on the east side, kind of the base of the mountains, but south of town.
Okay,
in
great.
Santa Fe, the county.
Uh-huh.
And Doug's
Great.
mom lives like 2 miles, I guess, closer towards town. So we
Lovely
go back and
place.
forth, and lots of family. Lots of fun, lots of family dynamics, you know. Is your family still there, Paul?
I had 9 people in the house over the weekend.
Yeah.
Now they're slowly starting to leave. Looking forward to having 2 in a couple days.
I think that's how people are going to feel here, but it is fun while it lasts.
You can put up with anything for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Builds character.
Right.
So, Paul,
Yeah.
just a reminder that, okay, first of all, we only have one alternate. So Laurel, if someone's seated, it will always be Laurel.
Okay.
Second of all, if we have, I don't expect that we're going to have to adjourn the meeting, but if we do, we have to always remember to do that full motion and do it to a time and place certain. We just have to always remember that. We got away from that a little bit at the last
Should
meeting.
we should we put on the agenda the election of the secretary?
You can, oh yes, you can add that. Yep.
Okay.
Add that after roll call.
Okay, I did tell you I found one.
Yes, I know. That's very exciting. Hi, Neil. There's Carlita.
Can I add that myself, or should I ask for a motion to add it?
You can move it and then move to add that
Okay.
to the, agenda, and then
Okay.
get someone to second that.
Okay. Two more and we got a quorum. There's one, Carlina.
We heard from Dorianne, right? That she's not able to attend.
Yep.
How does that proclamation for Vera get presented to her?
We will frame it and we'll bring it over to her.
Okay, all right.
Yep. She's still registrar, so it's easy.
It's easy to find her.
We could just walk over.
Right. Okay, we got Sarah. We're up to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, Craig. Congratulations, Craig. Your first meeting as a full member.
Well, thank you. I'd much rather be working alongside Vera and learning from her than replacing her.
Yeah, yeah,
And she's a huge loss, and she's so much fun.
yeah.
I thought it was really wonderful, the proclamation that the committee put out today in honor of her, and I thought that was wonderful.
That's great. That was good.
And thank you for the welcome.
At least we could all do, right? I mean, she's been a force and a really positive force.
Gee, that's not too much pressure, is it?
That's right. You got to fill her shoes.
I'm happy to be here. I didn't expect to move up this quickly, so that's good.
So Neil, could you turn your camera off so we can have just the commission members here at the beginning? Thank you. Three, 4, 5, 6. We have a quorum. We have a quorum and it's 6 o'clock.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so I call to order the Inland Wetlands Agency meeting of Mansfield, Connecticut on August 1st, 2022 at 6 p.m. Members present are Aho, Acorsi, Chandy, Cooley, Cotton, and Wutch. And absent members are DeVivo, Fertoni, Plant, and alternate Manville. Okay, so we have minutes from July 5th. Someone like to put those forward? Sarah, you go ahead.
Corsi moves that we accept the minutes of July 5th as written.
Okay, moved by Corsi.
Second.
Second by Cotton. Okay, all in favor? Okay, passed unanimously. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to add something to the agenda, and that would be the election of a secretary. So I move that we put on the agenda the election of our secretary.
And that's right below right below the call to order, correct?
Yes, and the approval of minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Or after, yep.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Corsi. All in favor? Okay, so that's on the agenda right now. I did talk to someone who was interested. So Luann, are you still interested?
I can't believe you're giving me a chance to back out again. Yes, I will.
That's dangerous.
I will do it. Yes. I'm
Okay,
interested.
so we have a volunteer. Can I move? Someone else should move.
I think you can move.
Okay, so I move that we elect Luann Cooley as Secretary of the Inland Wetlands Agency, in Mansfield, Connecticut.
Second.
Second by Cotton. Any discussion? All in favor? Passed unanimously. Thank you, Luann. I didn't have to twist her arm too badly. I mean, she hasn't got a cast on, so. Okay, we have some Conservation Commission communications, Inland Wetlands monthly report. Any questions about those?
Both the Conservation Commission speak to both of the, or all three of the inland wetlands licenses that you're going to be, the applications you're going to be reviewing this evening.
Okay, good. So under old business, we have application 1626, which is development on Stores Road and Middle Turnpike. That's been tabled until a public hearing. Then we have W 1627, and that's for a 2-lot subdivision on Wormwood Hill Road. That's the one that we visited, and we will be discussing that tonight.
Yes, we do have Andrew Bushnell, who's on behalf of the applicant here. So Andrew, I don't know if you would like to share your screen or if you would like us to share our screen. Andrew, you there? I'm going to give an overview. Oh, hi, Andrew. I'll give it a brief overview and then we can, I think Jaylene might be doing something in the booth. Hopefully it's all set, but she can share the plan after that. But in terms of inland wetlands, this is very straightforward. If this weren't a subdivision, it would be an agent approval. There we go. All of the house, the foundation, the driveway, the septic system, that basically everything is outside of the upland review area except for the footing drain. So they've done a good job kind of keeping everything away from the wetlands. And so it's a pretty straightforward application. And I do have an approval motion for you. It's in my staff memo. If you don't have any questions.
I don't think I've ever seen a house in Mansfield as far away from the wetlands as this one.
Well, there are some that don't even have any, that barely, but yeah,
Right.
This is a good one. So yeah.
This is a no-brainer, in my opinion. So would someone like to read the motion?
I can do it.
Okay, thank you.
I, Luann Cooley, will move to grant inland wetlands license pursuant to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses regulations of the town of Mansfield to D. Dowart for regulated activities associated with a 2-lot subdivision located on the east side of Wormwood Hill Road, south of Mulberry Road, Mulberry East, Phase 2, on property owned by the Reinhold A. and Juanita Dorwit Family Trust, assessor parcel ID 27.71.7, as shown on plans dated 2/23/2022 through 7/27/2022, and is described in application submissions. This action, do I read the rest too?
Yeah.
This action is based on a finding that there will be no significant impact to the wetlands and watercourses and is conditioned on the following provisions being met. Number 1, prior to commencing construction, the applicant or their representative must schedule an inspection with the inland wetlands agent to confirm that the limits of disturbance and erosion and sedimentation controls installed. Number 2, appropriate erosion and sedimentation controls, as shown on the plan, shall be in place prior to construction, maintained during construction, and removed when disturbed areas are completely stabilized. And number 3, all excess material shall be removed from the site or distributed at least 75 feet from the edge of wetlands. This approval is valid through August 1st, 2027. The applicant shall notify the wetlands agent before any work begins, and all work shall be completed within 1 year. Any extension of the activity period shall come before this agency for further review and comment.
Moved by Cooley.
Second by Chandy.
Okay, any discussion?
I have one, there's
Yeah.
just 2 small typos. One is move to grant an inland wetlands license, and then let's see, and under condition 1, sedimentation controls are installed. So
Without Vera here, we have to find those ourselves. Okay, all in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, next one is the pool on 514 Chaffeeville Road. And that's another one that we visited, and there's been some changes, some requests of the owner that you will have seen in the staff memo. Would you like to say anything about this, Jennifer?
No, I think that, there were several members of the agency that attended the field trip. And as you recall, the pool is being installed on it's a fairly level area, but it abruptly slopes down to an intermittent stream. There is going to be the removal of quite a bit of fill fairly close to the wetlands. They did submit a revised plan, and they're going to be installing some erosion and sedimentation controls. And they have agreed to stabilize and restore the disturbed area to the north of the area where there was a violation before, and there's still some scouring. So they did agree to do that. And they're going to be submitting a planting plan to ensure that that slope is stabilized. I did have, the Conservation Commission did have some concerns. I did have Derek Delay, Assistant Town Engineer, review that. He felt that as long as that slope was stabilized and the applicant was vigilant about monitoring the site during the construction until the site was fully stabilized, he didn't see an issue. So, but that's up to you. So I do have a motion in the memo, and Jolene and Sandy, I met this morning, that I have memos. I have my motions in Word documents in the packet folders for both inland wetlands and PZC. For PZC, I may need to have you share them on the screen. But if someone can, so I don't know if you have questions. I'm not sure if the applicant is, if Ashley Murphy is with the applicant team or not.
Yeah, Jennifer, this is Chase. Ashley Murphy is with the Landmark team.
Okay. I see actually the representative from Giuliano's Pools who just turned on his camera. So could you just state your name for the record and let us add anything that you might think that I left out?
Hi, my name is Jamie Herrick with Giuliano's Pools. Just here to field any questions you might have.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Okay, if not, would someone like to put that motion forward?
I can put it. Oh, you got it, Binu?
Okay, go ahead, Binu.
I, Chandy, move to grant an inland wetlands license pursuant to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses regulations of the town of Mansfield to T. Manzotti. I hope I'm saying the name right, for regulated activities associated with the installation of an in-ground pool on property located at 514 Shafeyville Road and owned by the applicant, assessor parcel ID 27.71.7, as shown on a site plan and application materials submitted on June 30th, 2022. This action is based on a finding that there will be no significant impact to the wetlands and watercourses and is conditioned on the following provisions being met. Prior to commencing construction, the applicant or their representative must schedule an inspection with the inland wetlands agent to confirm that the limits of disturbance and erosion and sedimentation controls are installed. 2, the applicant shall submit a planting and maintenance plan for approval by the inland wetlands agent prior to construction. The applicant should agree to an inspection schedule to ensure that the planting plan is implemented as agreed upon. 3, appropriate erosion and sedimentation controls as shown on the plan shall be in place prior to construction, maintained and monitored during construction, and removed when disturbed areas are completely stabilized. 4, the applicant shall request a natural diversity database environmental review from Connecticut DEEP and follow any and all recommendations outlined in the review. 5, no less than 3 placards shall be placed along the edge of the wetlands acknowledging the wetland resource and indicating that no dumping of any type is allowed, including brush, leaves, or any other debris. Placards and locations shall be approved by the town inland wetlands agent. Number 6, all excess material shall be removed from the site or disturbed at least 75 feet from the edge of wetlands. I'm not sure about that. We can discuss that. This approval is valid through August 1st, 2027. The applicant shall notify the wetlands agent before any work begins, and all work shall be completed within 1 year. Any extension of the activity period shall come before this agency for further review and comment.
Okay, moved by Chandy. Is there a second? Second by Corsi. Any discussion? Yes, Luann.
I would just like to say that for provision number 4, the applicant shall request natural diversity database environmental review from CT Deep and follow recommendations. I believe we should also include that construction should not start until that review is complete.
Okay,
I want to take a look at number 6 again. I want to confirm with Jennifer if that is what it is intended to be. All excess material shall be removed from the site. Oh, I read it as disturb. It's distributed.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So.
I have, there's one other, we can add, so what we could do is say, just add, no construction shall occur until that review has been received. That makes
Is that-
sense? At the
is that
end of item 4?
Is that okay with Chandy and Corsi?
Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, okay.
And Jennifer, you agreed that if it's distributed, that is what it was intended to be.
Yes, distributed, not disturbed. Yeah,
Shall be removed from the site or distributed.
at least 75 feet from the edge of wetlands.
Okay.
We could say distributed, distributed and distributed at least 75 feet from the edge of wetlands and stabilized or seeded and mulched.
Okay.
Would that make sense?
All excess material shall be removed from the site or distributed and stabilized at least 75 feet from
Yeah.
the edge of wetlands.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is the applicant shall request a natural diversity database environmental review from Connecticut Deep and follow any and all recommendations outlined in the review. No construction shall occur before receiving this review,
Such review.
such review.
Okay, for the record, John DeVivo has joined us at 6:17.
The parcel ID is incorrect. Just that's another thing that needs to be fixed on the last page. And the parcel ID is actually 17.66.6-1. And we can just correct that. It's noted at the top of in the subject line of my memo.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and discussion is finished. We can take a vote. All those in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, so the last thing we have in inland wetlands tonight is that pesky sidewalk. We're still discussing this sidewalk. Will we never get rid of this sidewalk? Okay,
Yes, thank you, commission members. This is Sarah Sharp. I'm a land use attorney with an office at 147 North Broad Street in Milford. I know that you are all very familiar with the project. This is our application for a wetlands license for the sidewalk extensions to the east and western adjacent parcels. You know, on the one hand, we're putting the sidewalk in to cross at the narrowest portion of the wetlands, and we've coordinated with the application that's going to be, I think it's currently pending, and you have a hearing coming up in the next couple of months to make sure that we can connect with that adjacent property. And then on the other side, we're putting it basically at the only location that it can be in between sort of the culvert and the wetlands there. And I know that you guys have done a site walk and have reviewed it thoroughly. So we're really just here to answer any questions. I'm joined by our professional engineer, Jeff Ford, and Chase Powell, representative from the developer Landmark.
Are there any questions? Okay, if not, do we have a motion?
You do?
Okay, would someone like to put that forward?
I can put that forward.
Okay, thank you.
I, Cotton, move to grant inland wetlands license pursuant to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses regulations of the standard at Four Corners LLC for regulated activities associated with the installation of 1,584 square feet of concrete sidewalk and a 50-foot bridge in the upland review on two parcels located at 1717 and 1753 Stores Road, assessors parcel IDs 8.15.10 and 8.15.8, and owned by KRCL LLC as shown on plans dated October 21st, 2021, revised through June 29th, 2022, and as described in application submissions. This action is based on a finding that there will be no significant impact to the wetlands and watercourses and is conditioned on the following provisions being met. 1, appropriate erosion and sedimentation controls as shown on the plan shall be in place prior to construction, maintained during construction, and removed when disturbed areas are completely stabilized. 2, no pesticides shall be applied within 50 feet of the edge of wetlands, except in cases of a threat to public health or property, and with permission from the town's inland wetlands agent. Placards indicating the pesticide-free zone shall be installed prior to the issuance of a certificate of zoning compliance for the project. Content and location shall be approved by the inland wetlands agent prior to installation. 3, placards shall be placed along the edge of the wetlands, acknowledging the wetland resource and indicating that no dumping of any type is allowed, including brush, leaves, or other debris prior to the issuance of a certificate of zoning compliance. Placard content and locations shall be approved by the town inland wetlands agent prior to installation. This approval is valid through August 1st, 2027. The applicant shall notify the wetlands agent before any work begins, and all work shall be completed within 1 year. Any extension of the activity period shall come before this agency for further review and comment.
Moved by Cotton,
Second.
Second by DeVivo. Any discussion? Yes, Jennifer.
Couple of little typos. The,
Okay.
let's see, it should be granted, we're gonna grant the wetlands license to, not of, the standard at Four Corners. And then, the other one was, in the upland review area, in that fourth line down. And
Okay.
then, I think that's basically it.
Oh,
Okay.
I changed it to this action is based on a finding that there will be no significant impact.
Perfect. Yeah, good.
Okay, with those changes, everyone in favor? Any opposed? No, okay, passes unanimously. And
Thank you.
inland wetlands, there's a few communications, use of pesticides in state waters, the replacement endorsement for Craig to replace Vera, and the water conservation notice. And we are done with inland wetlands at 6:25 p.m. Okay, moving along to PZC. So I call to order the August 1st meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of Mansfield, Connecticut at 6:25 p.m. Members present are Aho, Corsi, Chandy, Cooley, Cotton, DeVivo, and Wutch. Absent members are Fertoni, Plant, and alternate Manville. So we have minutes from July 18th.
Chandy,
Uh-huh.
that the minutes may be accepted as presented.
Moved by Chandy,
Second by Corsi.
second by Corsi. Any discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously. I'd like to, I move that we, yes, Craig.
Paul, Mr. Dorwart is still with us. I think his video came on after we had already approved his application for inland wetlands agency.
yeah.
And so I think he's still watching us and not aware that we've already unanimously approved his appliation.
He's got one more, Craig. He's got the re-subdivision, so.
Okay.
A twofer? You made him go to the back of the line?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But you can turn your video off until we get to that.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda the election of secretary.
So moved, Chandy.
Okay, and so that's a second.
Corsi seconds.
Okay, very good. So actually, I should just say I move that Luann Cooley be selected as our secretary. And that's duly seconded, okay, by Corsi. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, it passes unanimously. So now you got two jobs, Luann. She's shaking her head. Okay, we have a public hearing.
I can go ahead and read the legal ad.
Please do.
If I can get that up big enough on my laptop here. Okay. All right, the Mansfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold the fall. Oh, I'm sorry, that we do not need to read this because
We
this
don't
is a-
need to read it. Good.
Yeah, this is a continuation.
We're continuing.
Yeah, so we're continuing this public hearing from your first meeting, the meeting in July.
I I just need to open the meeting, right?
You need to open the public hearing. That's correct.
Okay.
And then Jolene will then read the script for folks, so we know how to run the public hearing.
Okay. So public hearing is opened at 6:28 PM with members present: Aho, Corsi, Chandy, Cooley, Cotton, DeVivo, and Wutch.
Okay, I guess I'm on here.
You're on.
All right, as a reminder to all participants, including members and staff, please state your name before speaking. For those viewing at home on live stream, please understand there is a 1 to 2 minute time lag due to transmission delays. If you will be providing verbal testimony during the public hearing, you can call into the meeting at any time. We will take a few minutes after the applicant's presentation to give people time to call in. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to receive relevant information about the proposed application from the public. Order and decorum shall be maintained at all times during the public hearing. The agency reserves the right to adjourn the hearing to another date and time if the discussion becomes unruly and unmanageable. Given the virtual format, we ask that everyone please bear with us if we encounter any glitches. If we are unable to overcome technical issues and/or the agency is having difficulty understanding information presented in this format, the hearing will be continued to another meeting. The order of presentations will be applicant, public comment in support, public comment in opposition, and public comment undetermined, and request for additional information. When addressing the commission, please state your name and address for the record before beginning your comments. Please limit your comments to the subject of the public hearing. Avoid repetition where possible. Summarize reports and letters that are submitted to the commission rather than reading them aloud, as all written information is copied and distributed to members. Direct all questions and comments to the chair. Do not attempt to engage in dialogue with members of the commission, staff, or any other parties to the hearing. Speak clearly to ensure your comments are audible to members of the public watching from home and are recorded. Commission members may ask questions of anyone providing testimony, but will not discuss the relative merits of the application until the hearing is closed. Failure to abide by these policies and procedures may result in a muting of your microphone or in dismissal from the hearing. Instructions on how to participate in the public hearing are listed on the agenda. For those who would like to call in, please call 1-929-205-6099 and enter the following meeting ID 879-3081-1071 and the following passcode 117445.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, do we have the applicant
Yes,
present?
Neil is here. Neil, if you want
Neil.
to turn your computer, your video on.
Okay,
And I'm pulling up my staff memo. Oh, goodness.
and there's been some changes as since the last time we met.
Right. So, yes, at your last meeting, I think that the commission expressed their concern. So let me just kind of go through my staff memo.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so and I had done this before at the last PZC meeting. So we're all set with water and sewer. The applicant is connecting to public water and public sewer. He's working with the Department of Public Works to take care of the sewer. Connecticut Water Systems has approved the water connection. The original plan included space for 31 parking spots. The applicant has reduced that down to 22 parking spots, and that includes one accessible space and one accessible van space. That is way more than that is required, but so he definitely meets the parking requirements. Lighting, he's going to coordinate the lighting fixtures with staff as part of getting his zoning permit. He has supplied a landscaping plan, so you'll note on the plan in the front, you'll see sort of a landscaped island. That's all going to be planted, whereas before that was not the case. He's also added a rain garden in the back and a plunge pool, and that will handle all of the stormwater coming from the roof. So per the regulations in the Four Corners Development District, any improvements need to include pedestrian access, and including a sidewalk. So the way it says is that the applicant must demonstrate to the satisfaction of the commission that the proposed development will not, I'm sorry, bear with me. I have a small computer, and I'm coming from this meeting from New Mexico. So the site, so it's located in the Four Corners Design Development District. And they have to comply with Article 10, Section A11.a. And they're supposed to have they're supposed to incorporate a prominent pedestrian-oriented and extensively landscaped streetscape. The streetscape shall include a walkway, bikeways, street trees, and other landscape enhancements, and as deemed appropriate by the commission, pedestrian sitting areas, bus racks, bus stops, and shelters. So right now, Jolene, I was wondering if you could pull up in my staff memo. I included two pictures, a Google Street view, and then a Google aerial photo. It's, if you go back to the agenda, there we go. So you can see from the street view here, there is already a paved access way, and that's going to remain. That's not going to go away. So he has added more landscaping. He's reduced the impervious cover, added more. I think it's going to look better from the road. I think the commission just needs to decide whether or not this as is enough of a pedestrian access way. So, and I guess I would just, as you're considering this is a change in use. It's not an intensification of this use. It's a vacant building. So I think, those are things to consider, but this is something that you have to rule on.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any other, I know Neil is here, and if I'm sure he'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Neil? Yes, Sarah.
I guess I'm wondering, from this view, can one of you point out where the other green parts will be?
So there is going to be, and Neil, maybe you can chime in here to make sure that we're interpreting this correctly. But my understanding is that this is going to be green, and there's going to be additional green in front of the building. I think we actually need to look at the site plan that was submitted in order to see the one that you were showing before, Jolene. Sorry, it's a little confusing.
Can Neil kind of direct us from this overhead view?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you see that current green island, basically
Right.
along 44, from there all the way to the drive-through at the north end of the building is going to be connected. So all the way to the right to the end of the drive-through, correct, right through there, all that will be green.
Okay.
As well as an island in the middle of the parking lot, which was shown on that site plan as well.
Now, it is interesting that when you look at the picture, there sort of is a sidewalk there.
Correct.
I didn't realize that there actually is a sidewalk of sorts there. So any other questions? So during the public hearing, we don't discuss the merits of it, but if there's any questions we have of Neil, this would be the time to make them. Yes, go ahead, Craig.
Have we gotten any feedback on the neighbor to the west? The neighbor that's on the side of the pickup window, as that seems like there isn't much space there to do a buffer, but I'm just wondering if we've heard if they have any concerns about the noise level coming from the pickup window directly onto their property. if
Yeah,
they've
the
had
pro-
a choice, if
the
they've been
property-
notified.
Yeah, the property to the east. Yeah.
Yes.
We have not gotten any communications from them. This is a non-conforming use, so this drive-through existed well, since the 70s, I believe, when it was a bank. So
And
so
I
the
believe
land-
that building to the east is not a residence, right? That's another office.
it is zoned, it's in the future land use map. It can be part of this mixed use center that is Four Corners. Right now, we do believe it's occupied by, we do believe it's a multifamily residence at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
I'm not aware of an office use at that time, in that building at this time.
Any other questions? Okay. Are there any calls that have come in? Any other people that would like to speak?
I don't see anyone from the public. Jillian, have you heard, Jillian or Sandy? And we've checked Plan Zone. There's nothing to include in terms of other communications.
Have not been any communications that I'm aware of.
Okay. So
Nothing from me.
if there's no reason to keep this open, we can
I just
close
wanna-
this public hearing. Yes, go ahead, Jennifer.
One thing, I want to just make sure it's noted for the record that the inclusion of my staff memo of July 28th, as well as, let's see, an updated signage plan, those are referenced in my memo, but those are new since the last, since we met on this on July 18th. So I just want to make sure that that's noted for the record.
Okay. Would someone,
I just wanted to just add something quick on the signage. So I've worked with the signage team quite a bit. So there's going to be a tall sign. Well, I should probably reshare my screen. There's going to be a tall sign right here. There's going to be I guess I would call it like a blade sign coming off the business, off the building in the front, and then 2 directional signs for the drive-through. And those signs all meet the regulations.
okay. Okay. I would entertain a motion to close this hearing.
Andy, move to
Okay,
the hearing.
okay.
I second that.
Moved by Chandy, second by DeVivo. All in favor? Okay, it is closed. The hearing is closed at 6:41 PM. We have another public hearing. Our last public hearing is the application for the Tula subdivision on the east side of Wormwood Hill.
I can go ahead and read the
Okay,
legal notice.
okay, thank you.
The Mansfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold the following public hearing on Monday, August 1st, 2022 via web-based virtual meeting to hear comments regarding the following application. 6:10 PM, application of D. Dorwart for a 2-lot re-subdivision on the east side of Wormwood Hill Road, Mulwood East Phase 2, on property owned by Reinhold A. and Juanita Dorwart Family Trust, Assessors Parcel 2771-7, PZC File 1225-2. No information from the public shall be received after the close of the public hearing. Additional information regarding this application is available in the planning office. Paul Aho, Chair, V. Ward, Secretary. This was published in the Willamette Chronicle on 7/19. And Sandy on 7/19 and 7/27/2022. So
Do I need to open the public hearing or is that,
yes, you do.
is they open it again? Okay. So the public
Oh,
hearing,
wait, did you open it already? I'm sorry.
no, I haven't opened it. We have to open it for each matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the public hearing is opened at 6:43 PM. Members present are Ahua, Corsi, Chandy, Cooley, Cotton, DeVivo, and Butch.
And I'm just going to note the legal notice for the record because I think I should have done that after it was opened. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Do I have to read this again?
I think you do.
I
think
do?
I think so. We decided. Yeah.
You could put it on a tape.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. As a reminder to all participants, including members and staff, please state your name before speaking. For those viewing at home on live stream, please understand there is a 1 to 2 minute time lag due to transmission delays. If you will be providing verbal testimony during the public hearing, you can call into the meeting at any time. We will take a few minutes after the applicant's presentation to give people time to call in. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to receive relevant information about the proposed application from the public. Order and decorum shall be maintained at all times during the hearings. The agency reserves the right to adjourn the hearing to another date and time if the discussion becomes unruly and unmanageable. Given the virtual format, we ask that everyone bear with us if we encounter any glitches. If we are unable to overcome technical issues and/or the agency is having difficulty understanding information presented in this format, the hearing will be continued to another meeting. The order of presentations will be the applicant, then public comment in support, public comment in opposition, and public comment undetermined or request for additional information. When addressing the commission, please state your name and address for the record before beginning your comments. Limit your comments to the subject of the public hearing. Avoid repetition where possible. Summarize reports and letters that are submitted to the commission rather than reading them aloud, as all written information is copied and distributed to members. Direct all questions and comments to the chair. Do not attempt to engage in dialogue with members of the commission, staff, or any other parties to the hearing. Speak clearly to ensure your comments are audible to members of the public watching from home. Commission members may ask questions of anyone providing testimony, but will not discuss the relative merits of the application until the hearing is closed. Failure to abide by these policies and procedures may result in a muting of your microphone or in dismissal from the hearing. Instructions on how to participate in the public hearing are listed on the agenda. For those who would like to call in, please call 1-929-205-6099. Enter the following meeting ID 879-3081-1071 and the following passcode 117445.
Thank you. So we can go to the applicant. David.
David, do you want us to pull up the plan or would you like Andrew or you to do that?
Is Andrew on?
Andrew, I see Andrew.
I'm here.
Yeah.
You've already, Jennifer, you have already explained what it is. Andrew would have the visuals.
Yeah, I mean, if you could bring up the plan again, Jen, that'd be good.
Great. I'll let Jolene do that. I'll just give a quick overview. Again, this is it's a 2-lot re-subdivision. The property is the remaining 5.79 acres from the Wormwood East 5-lot subdivision. This was approved by the PZC in 2005. The applicant's proposing one 90,000 square foot building lot, and the remaining land will be placed in a conservation easement that will be held by the town. So I've reviewed the proposed re-subdivision, so in conformance of the Mansfield subdivision regulations. And because it's a re-subdivision and it includes less than 4 lots, it was not required to go through the 2-phase subdivision design process that many of you are familiar with. The applicant has been very cooperative and has responded to staff comments and has made some changes to the plans based on that. Let's see, the final plans they're preserving their stone walls. The final plans indicate that the stone walls will be impacted by the driveway, but there shall be no alteration of stone walls other than as specified on the plans. So this ensures that future owners are aware of these features. They've identified significant trees, and any trees to be removed in the town right away need to be posted by the tree warden prior to removal. In terms of sidewalks, bikeways, and trails, Section 9 of the subdivision regulations, it requires sidewalk, bikeways, and trails or other improvements to encourage safe pedestrian and bicycle use shall be required in all subdivisions that are proximate to a planned development area such as Four Corners, schools, playgrounds, parks, or other public facilities, existing or planned walkway, bicycle, or trail routes. The proposed re-subdivision is very close to the existing Dorwart Preserve. They've not proposed any sidewalks or bikeways, but this is not, there are no future planned bikeways that are proposed for Wormwood Hill. And if they were to add a sidewalk in front of the development, it would make this, it would disturb the tree canopy and the stone walls. So that's something, when you're evaluating the waiver request for a person not to put in a sidewalk, you have to consider the size, the location of the proposed subdivision and its relationship to existing or planned development, school sites, playground areas, and other public areas. So that's just something for your consideration. Drainage, they have an ENS plan, and they have done some, they're not required to do a full stormwater management plan, but they have directed their roof gutters into stormwater infiltration, and that is shown on the plan. The open space, they have 70% of this re-subdivision will be preserved via conservation easement. So that's basically the summary of this subdivision. So I guess I'll open it up. I guess the next step is to ask Andrew or David or me any questions.
Any questions from the commission? Okay, are there anybody calling in? Any members of the public?
We're
No,
not aware of any.
okay, all right. So if there's no questions and no public, we could close this hearing. Would someone like to make a motion to close the hearing?
I can do that.
Okay,
This is Luann Cooley. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on the Dorwart property.
okay, moved by Cooley,
Second by Chandy.
second by Chandy. All in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. The hearing is closed at 6:51 p.m. Okay, we can move on to old business. And the first old business is the drive-through facility on Middle Turnpike.
The special permit application of
Right,
Blue
special-
Waters.
Right, I'm
I
sorry.
think it's best if we read the full.
Yes, you're right, you're right.
application.
Special
Thank you.
permit application of Blue
Yeah.
Waters LLC to authorize a retail food service use with an associated drive-through facility on property located at 650 Middle Turnpike. Now we can discuss the merits of that, or so. Any comments on that application? Yes, Binu.
I had some concerns about sidewalk, the timing of when the sidewalk would be implemented, and now seeing the reality, I think I'm okay with them, proposing to have a formal sidewalk when that whole side of the street is developed.
Yeah, I think it sort of has a sidewalk now. So at first I thought maybe there was none, but there really is sort of a sidewalk there already. So. Any other comments? Yes.
I think it's it looks very, very nice from the plan, and he incorporated, to be to the east, he incorporated a little bit more green space between the building and the road. I thought that was a very nice touch. So
Yep.
I think he did everything we asked and then some.
I think I'd have to agree. Any other comments? Yes, Luann.
I just wanted to make a comment for the record that this is not a restaurant drive-through that we're approving. That just want to make it very clear that this is a non-conforming use of a former building that had a drive-through attached to it. There is no restaurant seating in this new use.
Right.
So it still complies with Mansfield zoning regulations which prohibit drive-through.
Okay. So do we have a motion in the packet?
Folks see that? I wonder if there's a way to make it.
Seems-
I'm having a hard time seeing it, but that could just be my tiny laptop I'm working from.
Now I think we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are we seeing the beginning of it? There it is. Yeah. Okay, would someone like to put that forward?
I can put it forward. I
Okay.
just wanted to clarify, it ends with number 5. Is that correct?
Yeah, where does it end?
Julian, I'm having trouble. I can't see this at all from my computer. I wonder if there's a way I can.
There's notes beyond number 5. There's notes. Do the notes have to go into the motion?
No, those we just usually refer to those.
Okay, so it'll
Yeah.
end at 5.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I cotton to approve the June 3rd, 2022 special permit application of Blue Waters LLC applicant owner to authorize a retail food service use with an associated drive-through at 650 Middle Turnpike, file P622-1, as presented at public hearings on July 5th, July 18th, and August 1st, 2022, as shown on a site plan dated July 18th, 2022, a signage plan dated June 13th, 2022, revised through July 27th, 2022, and described in application submissions pursuant to Article 5, Section B.3.d of the Mansfield zoning regulations. The site plan requirements are hereby waived as the information is not needed to determine compliance with the zoning regulations due to the limited nature of the proposed activity. This approval is granted because the application is not expected to result in any detrimental neighborhood impacts and is considered to be in compliance with Article 5, Section B, and other provisions of the Mansfield zoning regulations, and is granted with the following conditions. Number 1, extent of approval. This approval is based on the applicant's submission and the conditions cited in this motion. Unless modifications are specifically authorized, the proposed uses shall be limited to those authorized by this approval. Any questions regarding authorized uses, additional site improvements, and conditions cited in this approval shall be reviewed with the zoning agent and director of planning and development, and as deemed necessary, the Planning and Zoning Commission. Number 2, lighting. Prior to issuance of a zoning permit, the applicant shall demonstrate compliance with Article 10, Sections R.4.d and R.4.e, Article 6, Section B.4.g of the zoning regulations. Number 3, landscaping. Prior to issuance of a zoning permit, the applicant shall submit a planting plan. Trees and shrubs placed within 5 feet of paved areas shall be of a variety capable of withstanding salt damage. Plants identified in the current State Department of Environmental Protection Agency listing of invasive species and those identified as invasive or potentially invasive by the Connecticut Invasive Plants Council shall not be used in accordance with Connecticut General Statute 22A-381A through 22A-381D. Number 4, trash disposal. Prior to issuance of a zoning permit, the applicant shall revise the site plan to demonstrate that the trash disposal area includes space for both trash and recycling. The enclosure properly screens and secures the disposal area, and that any other trash disposal receptacles on site includes both trash and recycling. 5, validity. This special permit shall not become valid until filed upon the land records by the applicant.
Moved by Cotton.
Second by Corsi.
Second by Corsi. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, passes unanimously. All right, old business B. Application of the door work for a 2-lot subdivision on the east side of Wormwood Hill Road, Mulwood East Phase 2, on property owned by the Reinhold A. and Juanita Dorrit Family Trust.
Didn't we just do that?
This is for the subdivision. So they had to do a wetlands application and then a subdivision application.
Any discussion? Looks pretty straightforward to me. Do we have a motion? There we go. How far does that go? Down to the end of 4?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Who would like to read? Dino, you're good at reading.
Jen, can you increase it a little bit more? Take it a little bit more.
That's
right. I think it can increase it. Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
Miss Ken. Ken used to read all these long ones.
I move to approve with conditions the re-subdivision application file number 11225. I think it's 1225-2.
Yeah.
D. Dorwart for a 2-lot re-subdivision on property located on the east side of Wormwood Hill Road, Mulwood East-2, owned by the Reinhold A. and Juanita Dorwart Family Trust, assessor parcel ID 27.71, as shown on plans dated 2/23/2022, as revised through 7/27/2022, and as described in other application submissions. Subject to the conditions noted herein, this approval accepts the applicant's proposed lot layout and pursuant to section 7.5 of the subdivision regulations, accepts the building setbacks and lot frontage. Pursuant to section 9.0 of the subdivision regulations, The commission hereby waives the requirements for sidewalks, bikeways, trails, and or other improvements designed to encourage and enhance safe pedestrian and bicycle use based on the location of the site and the lack of any existing or planned sidewalk, bikeway, or trail improvements in the immediate vicinity. This approval is granted because the application as hereby approved is considered to be in compliance with the Mansfield zoning and subdivision regulations and is granted with the following conditions. Number 1, erosion and sedimentation controls. Prior to the commencement of any site work, erosion and sedimentation control measure. Prior to the commencement of any site work, erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be installed pursuant to the approved plan. Bi-weekly erosion and sedimentation monitoring reports shall be made available to the zoning agent and wetlands upon request until all site work is completed and disturbed areas are stabilized. Number 2, conservation easement. This approval accepts the voluntary dedication of conservation easements as shown on the plans. Easement documents shall be approved by the Director of Planning and Development and Town Attorney prior to recording. Easement boundaries shall be marked by the applicant or designee within 30 days after the appeal period provided for in Section 8-8 of the state statutes, or in the case of an appeal, no later than 15 days of any judgment in favor of the applicant. Number 3, additional documentation and fees. The following items shall be submitted with the final subdivision maps. A, confirmation from applicable utility companies that the proposed design is acceptable. B, unexecuted copies of warranty deeds. C, statement from utility company approving proposed design of utilities/connections. D, certificate of title, and if needed, subordination agreements authorizing the dedication of land and conservation easements as proposed. E, conditions to be recorded on the land records. F, post-approval fee in the amount of $500. Section 4, extent of approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission, for good cause, shall have the right to declare this approval null and void if the following deadlines are not met, in parentheses, unless a 90 or 180-day filing extension has been granted. A, all final plans shall be submitted to the planning office no later than 15 days after the appeal period provided for in Section 8-8 of the state statutes, or in the case of an appeal, no later than 15 days of any judgment in favor of the applicant. B, all documentation with surveyor certificate shall be completed pursuant to the Commission's approval action and Section 14 of the Subdivision Regulations no later than 15 days after the appeal period provided for in Section 8-8 of the state statutes, or in the case of an appeal, no later than 15 days of any judgment in favor of the applicant. Is there more?
I think that's it. That's it. Moved by Chandy. Second by Cooley. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. We have one more new business tonight, and that's the revised.
One quick thing. There is
Yes.
just one very small typo in the
Okay.
parcel ID. Can we add the 0.7? It's 27.71.7. So
I think we can add that.
that's it.
I see nods. Okay, the last piece of old business is the revised landscape plan submitted by the Standard of Four Corners pursuant to condition 3B of the special permit approval for a mixed-use development on property on Stores Road. So this is the landscape
Evening
plan.
again. Yeah.
Okay, yes, go ahead, Sarah.
This is Sarah Sharp. I'm a land use attorney with an office at 147 North Broad Street. I have with me tonight our professional engineer for the project, Jeff Ford with Bowler, our landscape architect, Leslie Sanger at Bowler as well, and our representative from the Landmark, Chase Powell, available to answer any questions. Again, I know that you are all very familiar with this project. I included a supplemental narrative with this submission to sort of orient you as to where we started with the landscape plan here and sort of the origin of the streetscape comment. I believe that earlier for another application, we read through the relevant portion of the regulations that talks about a pedestrian-oriented streetscape and for it to be landscaped and include sidewalks and trees. When this comment was first raised in a staff report, we only had some very limited conservation mix plantings along the sidewalk. We did not have the sidewalk going across the entire frontage. And then before you guys approved the original landscape plan, we had added these landscape islands at certain intervals along the frontage. And I've looked back at the commission's discussion and the videos from those meetings, and I didn't see any discussion specifically about the extent of the landscaping. It may have just been lost in translation there. And if you'll recall, that's why we kind of asked for clarification at a meeting a couple of months ago, and we talked about adding some pedestrian seating. So in our revised landscape plan, you'll see that we have the landscape islands. We have some additional pedestrian seating in the form of pedestrian benches. We have the bus stop pull-off with the bus shelter there, and we have the sidewalk spanning across the entire frontage and connecting to the adjacent parcels. And we think that with the addition of the landscaping there, and we've made some minor adjustments to it to accommodate comments from CT, Department of Transportation, because we're so close to the right-of-way there. But I think that with the additional landscaping, the sidewalk spanning the entire frontage, and then that in combination with the elements of the plan that we have just right off of the sidewalk, you know, the linear park, the park on stores, which also has all these pedestrian elements to really draw you in, and the saucer swings, the lounge chairs. I think that you guys remember all of this. So we really feel like we meet the intent of the regulations, and I'll have Jeff now just share with you sort of the red line exhibit, and we're just here to answer any questions that you might have. So what we've shown in red here, those little landscape islands, those are all the landscape islands that were added after the original comment was made, and then it was the request of, you know, I think Linda had directed the commission to decide whether or not this met the requirements of the regulations. And then we had the follow-up discussion about pedestrian seating. And so we've added some benches that are sort of adjacent to that part, the park between building 3,000 and 5,000. And they really complement what is going to be in the park, you know, the lounge chairs, the saucer swings, the hammocks. And similarly over here by the bus stop, we have the linear park, which will also have this pedestrian realm to really draw you in. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any, now, did you end up going around that big rock that's on the west side?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
we did make the adjustment so that we can keep that rock there. Yes.
That's a beautiful rock.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
rock.
I liked it. I saw it.
Any other questions from the commission? Yes, Luann.
First of all, I'm glad you asked about the rock. That was one of my questions. But another question I had was, I was having trouble looking at the other plan that was included with this. I was trying to determine if any of the large trees that are near the frontage are going to be retained anywhere in the plans.
I think that there were
I can answer that.
these trees that are, yeah, you go ahead, Jeff.
So Jeff Board, professional engineer, state of Connecticut, 65 LaSalle Road at Bowler. There are some trees in here, Luann, you could see that are separate from the original, and there's several throughout the frontage that we tried to save, including one over by the pump station. And then the span of trees that we are talking about, I was trying to find that image, is right in this location right here. And you can kind of see it delineated by this dashed line. There's that rock outcropping with several trees that are incorporated through here. So where we could save trees, they were saved.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
You do, if, Jolene, I'm not sure if you're available to share that.
I could stop sharing here. There we go.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. I have two motions. The first one is an approval motion. The second one is is just that you need more information. So
Would someone like to put forward the approval motion?
I can put forth the.
Okay, thank you.
I, Cotton, move to approve the landscape plan dated October the 1st, 2021, revised through July 25th, 2022, of the Standard at Four Corners LLC applicant pursuant to condition 3.b of the special permit approval for a mixed-use development on property located at 1717, 1733, and 1753 Stores Road, assessor parcel IDs 8.15.10, 8.18.9, 8.15.8, and an adjacent vacant parcel, assessor parcel ID 8.15.9-1. This approval is based on a finding that the applicant has addressed condition 3B of the special permit approved by the commission on February the 7th, 2022.
Okay, moved by Cotton,
Second.
second by DeVivo. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Okay, pass unanimously. Is that the last step for that particular parcel, Jennifer?
they will need to get a zoning permit, and I believe there's a few things that we're working with staff on, that they're working with staff on. So it's, it's a big project, lots of moving parts.
It's getting
and,
closer.
But Jeff, you are planning or hoping to break ground this fall, right? Or at least start your putting up your erosion sedimentation controls. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct. This is Chase Powell. We're still targeting the fall of this year.
Great.
Okay.
Good. Well,
very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So our new business is the proclamation. Do I get to read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. Someone will have to show it to me, though.
Thank you to Jolene and Sandy for doing all this.
Yes, thank you.
Behind the scenes. I appreciate it.
Can you see it, Paul?
I can see it. Now I can't see the very bottom of it, but maybe we can move that when I get down to the bottom.
Yep, I think that's the bottom.
Okay, now I can't see the top.
Oh.
Okay, just move it a little bit as I get toward the bottom.
Yeah.
So we have a proclamation in honor of Vera Stearns Ward. And whereas Vera Stearns Ward began her service as an alternate member of the commission on May 2nd, 2005 until September 20th, 2006. On November 16th, 2009, she was again appointed as an alternate. And on May 18th, 2015, she began her service as a full member of the commission, a position which actively served until July 18th, 2022. Whereas Ms. Ward has been instrumental in numerous updates to the zoning and subdivision regulations through her role on the Regulatory Review Committee and has provided innumerable insights as changes to regulations were discussed and debated by the committee. And whereas Ms. Ward has provided thoughtful and constructive feedback in her review of applications for the Planning and Zoning Commission and Inland Wetlands Agency, from her questions of applicants to her active participation in commission discussions on the merits of applications. And whereas Ms. Ward has served as a model of the collegiality that is a hallmark of the commission, and whereas through a lifetime of commitment to her community as a registrar of voters, community volunteer, and commission member, Ms. Ward has contributed greatly to what makes Mansfield a wonderful place. I'm cracking up myself. To live and raise a family. And whereas Ms. Ward has patiently discovered typos and mistakes of all types through her careful reading of motions, thereby improving the quality of the commission's work. She was a master at that. Now, therefore, let it be it resolved that we, the Mansfield Planning and Zoning Commission, on behalf of the citizens of Mansfield, do hereby commend and thank Vera Stearns Award for her long and distinguished service to the commission and the town of Mansfield. We hope that you're able to transition to a life of relaxation and tranquility and spend quality time with your husband on Monday evenings. Affirmed on this first day of August in the year 2022. Do we need to vote on that, or it's just a proclamation, a unanimous proclamation? Yes, Vera.
Vera's very, she didn't want a lot of fuss or to do, but she, but she deserves a proclamation at the very least.
Definitely deserved that.
Any chance she'll come back like the last time?
Maybe she'll come back. You never know. Is there anything else we need to do tonight?
That is it.
That is it. So we are finished. The meeting is over at 7:20 p.m. And we don't have another meeting in August, right?
Correct. Your next meeting is Tuesday, September 6th.
See you all in September.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
Yep.